Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, and today we're going to take a look at my vending camp. Now this is something I had wanted to build for quite a while, and with the addition of those awesome signs that they added, I was finally able to bring it to life. Now all of my vending machines have their own store, which is pretty cool. In fact, my entire camp is nothing but shops. But up first we've got my plans. I have an entire vending machine full of nothing but fairly decent plans. And this one, of course, is Christmas themed. So, of course, Santatron likes to spawn behind my machine for whatever reason. He's kind of weird, but I'm not going to complain. At least he's still hanging out and collecting stuff. Now, something cool you can do if you still have wrapping paper and you have that display case. Make sure it's the second item you put in your case, and it'll look awesome there. Moving on. My next shop is all about apparel. So costumes and armor. And I figured there's nothing better I could do for that than Halloween. Because Halloween, you tend to think costumes. And it's kind of weird. At first, I thought it was going to bug me having the brick walls flipped. But it kind of worked out. It's nice. But bunch of different costumes in there and outfits. A handful of armor, just random little things I acquire and then try to get rid of. Next up, we've got my weapons. And this one is kind of, I don't know, a mix between maybe a little bit of Raider, a little bit of Cult, I don't know. Some weird stuff. But I discovered that I could put the Mothman mount on the front of my vending machine. And if you're not paying attention, it almost looks like there's a Mothman hanging out inside this shop. But definitely a cool little store. Bunch of different explosive weapons in there. Some fire rate. You know, decent type stuff. Now, continuing on, we have the unique part of my camp. Of course, I put the vending machine in here, a little water, but the preservation shelter and the bus stop are kind of like my unique camp thing at this spot. We go to the other side, we've got a nice little plant shop. I mean, everybody needs plants, right? I know, now we're kind of moving into some of my stores that I built that, of course, I don't have enough vending machines. If I could have more vending machines, you better believe that every one of my shops would have a vending machine in it. Now, out back, I did have to throw in a few turrets because enemies like to spawn behind and attack. And also, I put the safe on the front end of that trailer. Basically because when I look at it, I feel like without that there, that trailer would probably tip forward. Let's hop up on top of my building real quick. So I hid my generator out back, and I rigged up a neat little thing for me to sit my turret on top of. That way mole rats can't just pop up and attack that turret. Now on to what is probably one of my favorite shops that I built. At first glance, it almost reminds me of like an army surplus from the outside. But on the inside, it's more of a general store pawn shop type of thing. It's got a little bit of everything. And this vending machine is full of all the stuff that doesn't go with one of my other shops. So I've got like stem packs, serums, ammo, just whatever. Holotape games. It's just full of all the weird stuff that's not for one of the other shops. But let's continue on. We'll wrap our way around. Out back behind that store, there's nothing too fancy. I do have the little Foshnock fire. And you gotta have an instrument in your camp somewhere, just so people can get well tuned. Now on to another one of my favorite little shops, which sadly I don't have a vending machine that I can put in this one, but my toy store is just full of different toys. Now, one of my buddies hates there being beds in here. but they just kind of fit. Back here we got Blast Radius sign with a Blast Radius game and an Unstoppables game. And I've got various little toys decorated around. I like to imagine that my gold Mr. Fuzzy ride is actually some kind of promotional giveaway that the toy store is doing. You know, use your imagination a little bit. But it is fairly sparse when it comes to the magazines or comic books. Now out front there is another Mr. Fuzzy ride. And that one's just there for, because, you know, I why not? I got 2 Mr. Fuzzy rides, I'm going to put them out there. Now my tool store is just all of my workbenches crammed in here. It's kind of compact, but for the most part, it works. Not to sound like Todd Howard, but it just works, alright? Get over it. Now that pretty much wraps up the tour of my camp, but since this is a unique camp location, I'm going to show you what's around here. Now, I did see that I could put my camp down over near this building, and this place does have a few different containers you can loot, a little bit of junk, and then, of course, beyond this, we have this stretch of houses, which you can't camp at. You can't do it. But there's plenty of loot all throughout there that you can pick up and go scrap. In fact, there's even some garden gnomes out by these houses that I like to go grab whenever we have one of the dailies to go scrap them. But if you're wanting to camp here, if you're on PS4 or PC, definitely go check it out and camp there. If you're on Xbox and you camp in my spot, I will be judging how good your camp is compared to mine. Mine's pretty cool because it sells stuff and hooks me up with caps. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.